Welcome to my channel. My name is Etienne, I'm from Germany, and I lived and worked in Japan from 2010 until recently.
After spending nearly 15 years there, I eventually returned home to Germany. But even today, there is one question people ask me all the time. What impressed you the most about Japan? Was it the technology? The bullet trains? The futuristic cities? The anime culture? The incredible efficiency? Those things are certainly impressive, but surprisingly, none of them are at the top of my list. The thing that impressed me the most was something much more ordinary. It was the way Japanese people grow old. Before moving to Japan, I spent nearly 6 months researching the country. Like many people in Europe, I imagined Japan as a nation of cutting-edge technology. Neon lights, high-speed trains, robots, and giant cities. And to be fair, those things are all real.
The first time I rode a Japanese train, I was amazed by how punctual it was. A train scheduled to arrive at 8.
Not 8:04, not 8:05, exactly 8:03. As a German, I thought that was impressive.
But after living there for years, I discovered something even more remarkable. The people, especially the elderly.
I still remember my first few weeks in Tokyo. Every morning, I walked from my apartment to the train station. Along the way, I kept seeing the same elderly man riding an old bicycle. Nothing unusual about the bicycle, nothing unusual about his clothes.
But he seemed to appear every single morning. One day, I asked my landlord about him. I assumed he was around 65 years old. My landlord laughed. "No," he said, "he's 83. I honestly thought he was joking.
83? The man was carrying groceries, riding a bicycle, and living independently. A few weeks later, I noticed something similar again.
An elderly woman with completely white hair was working in a small garden outside her home. Every morning she was there, watering plants, pulling weeds, sweeping the path. At first, I assumed she was helping her family. Later, I learned she lived alone. These experiences kept repeating themselves.
People in their 70s, people in their 80s, even people in their 90s. Many remained active, independent, and mentally sharp.
Of course, Germany also has healthy older people. But the sheer number of active elderly people I encountered in Japan felt different.
It made me wonder, why? Why do so many Japanese people remain healthy for so long?
The answer, I eventually learned, wasn't one magical secret. It was a collection of small habits practiced consistently throughout life.
And the first habit that shocked me was food. To be honest, my first culture shock in Japan wasn't language. It wasn't transportation, it wasn't work culture, it was food portions. Back in Germany, I was used to large meals.
A typical dinner might include meat, potatoes, bread, cheese, and often beer. Food was hearty, generous, filling, and beer was often part of social life. Many Germans enjoy having a beer after work or while spending time with friends.
When I arrived in Japan, I expected the food to be different. What I didn't expect was how little food seemed to be on the plate.
During my first week in Tokyo, I entered a small neighborhood restaurant. I ordered a meal that looked normal in the menu photos. A few minutes later, the waitress placed a tray in front of me. There was a small bowl of rice, a bowl of miso soup, a small piece of grilled fish, some vegetables, a little seaweed, and a few pickles. I stared at the tray.
Honestly, my first thought was, where is the rest of the meal? As a German, I was convinced I would be hungry again in an hour. But after finishing everything, something unexpected happened. I felt satisfied. Not stuffed, not sleepy, not uncomfortable, just satisfied.
I didn't understand it at first. But over the following months, I kept experiencing the same thing. Japanese meals looked smaller than German meals. Yet somehow, I often felt better afterward. Eventually, I realized the difference wasn't quantity, it was balance. Many Japanese meals include a variety of ingredients.
Fish, vegetables, seaweed, soy products, rice, soup, fermented foods.
Each dish is small, but together they create a balanced meal.
Several months after moving to Japan, one of my coworkers invited me to dinner at his home. I was excited. I wanted to see how a normal Japanese family ate.
But secretly, I was worried. By then, I had already noticed how small portions often seemed.
I actually considered stopping at a convenience store beforehand, just in case. Fortunately, I didn't.
When I arrived, his wife had prepared a traditional homemade meal. The table looked beautiful. There were many dishes, but every dish seemed small. Again, I had the same thought. There is no way this will be enough.
Etienne, do you think you'll still be hungry later? Everyone at the table laughed. And honestly, they weren't wrong. That's exactly what I was thinking.
We began eating, but unlike many meals I was used to, nobody rushed. People ate slowly. They talked. They enjoyed each dish.
Years later, I learned about a traditional Okinawan saying called hara itabume.
The idea sounds simple, but imagine following that principle every day for 50 or 60 years.
The second thing I noticed was movement, not exercise, movement. In the West, when people talk about staying healthy, they often talk about gyms.
Walking through neighborhoods, walking to visit friends. In Tokyo, it became almost impossible for me not to walk. Every day I walked to the station. Without trying, I often reached 8,000 or 10,000 steps. One of my neighbors, Mr. Nakamura, had retired years earlier.
Yet every morning he walked around the neighborhood. Rain or shine, winter or summer. If I stay home too long, my body will forget how to move. I've never forgotten that sentence.
In Japan, regular health checkups are part of everyday life. Every year, my company arranged health examinations for employees.
At first, I found it inconvenient. Later, I understood its value. Problems are easier to treat when they are discovered early. This mindset of prevention. Japanese people often have a reason to wake up every morning, a purpose, a mission, something that gives meaning to their day.
So now I'd like to ask you a question. If you could adopt just one Japanese habit starting tomorrow, which one would it be? Let me know in the comments below.